Testing. Hello. 1, 2, 3. Hi. Happy Saturday. I hope everything is going great. So an update on yesterday. There we go. This is a different error. Don't look at this. An update on yesterday. We finished this train. Hi. Oh, cool. Yes. We can do that. Sure. Hi. Good morning, I guess. Hi, Coffee. I will do that. Why not? That would be fun. I'm just gonna like wrap up what we were doing yesterday, and then I can start anew. So we were training this language model thing, and it finished 10 epochs, and we can test it because it worked. So now it is here. I think, yeah, it has no way. Well, not 2 hours ago, but at least this is one. So this one worked. And if I copy this, paste it. Wait a minute. Wait, will it not work if I do this? Anyway, let's try. Sure. I maxed out my GPU yesterday, so that's why I couldn't continue. I still have a cat. No, it's like a thing. It's a cat. I don't know. You can add it or you can remove it. So I'm gonna run this. I'm guessing it works. I don't think there is going to be any errors. And in the meantime, we can go and check Discord. Okay, you still have no idea what it is? Universal grammar. I think, didn't people just give up on that? Feels like, why language models can learn languages. Okay, let's try and open this. And then cool. And bring it here. Okay. This is loading and we have an error because the book data set is not fun. Test data set, we need the test data set. Let's do that. Let's something that stumped even you. This has gotta be interesting. Let me upload the test data set. I mean, while I'm uploading, why shouldn't I? Yeah, I'm just gonna upload everything. Go. And then I'm gonna have to recreate this. You go away. Book data set. Where are you? Where are you being called? Okay, I can't see you. Somewhere. Datasets. Show sample. Load. Is this the loading part? I have to rerun everything. I'm guessing from here. This is the zip. Okay, all right. And then train and validation. Oh, well, train. What didn't I say import? Okay, I guess I have to run everything. There you go. Did we not have a test dataset? Train. Okay. Somewhere around there, I'm creating a test dataset. Okay. Huh. Okay, I can check validation. It's fine. But when, okay, books, titles. I need to do this filter and then I'll be done. Okay. So from here, do we not have test? Oh, do we have test? No, we don't. So let's just get from validation, which I guess is not the best way of doing things, but hey. Hi, hello, Min Fan. What's up? Okay. Well, still test, another test. Last one. Oh, the actual review, the summary. Summary says great quality. And the first thing in the review is horrible quality. So what are we thinking? What the hell? Horrible quality. So give to this other stuff cheap quality. What is happening? How does horrible quality translate into great quality as a summary? That's weird. Let's go for a different one, like I don't know, 222. Great shampoo. The shampoo is a wonderful, great. That's a good summary. There's a different one. Oh, this is you know, Spanish, and most of the time you see it just taking out part. For example, muy bien, I guess, which means really good or something, is coming from that part. And then la calidad, what's calidad? Is probably coming out of somewhere. No? I guess not. Anyway, it does extraction most of the time. Let's Google Translate this to see if it works or not. Translate from Spanish to English. Go. It's literally saying the same thing. It is very repetitive. We did just learn that models could train with 99 inaccurate labels. True that. That is true. Very good product for frizzy hair. That's nice. Smells very good. Okay. Unruly hair. That's cute. Okay. Yeah. So calidad means quality. Nice. Now read this for me because I like hearing how it sounds.
La calidad muy bien.
Muy bien. La calidad. Cool. Nice. We did something and we're proud of it. And let's shove it under the rug and never look at it again. 다음 건, next thing is this one. Benchmark with bad answers seem worse than the... That's interesting. So like a bad evaluation is worse than bad, like I'm trying to think of it as if it's a test. So if you study bad information, it's worse than a bad exam. I mean, other way around. Okay. I'm interested in looking at the video, so let's do that. Subtitles on. Go.
Over a decade ago, before I got a PhD in linguistics, when I was an aspiring polyglot and the only
I like their voice. Okay, let's continue.
YouTube language learning content was basically Alexander Argeles marching around talking to himself, or Lao Shu accosting people in the mall, I remember hearing that Noam Chomsky, the political scientist, has a crazy theory about language that they're all basically the same on some deep grammatical level. Preposterous, I thought.
Same. I also think, I don't know. Also, Language Jones. Cool name. Okay. I'm surprised I have not heard of the guy. I guess I don't watch that many language related. The only language related content I watch is mostly like learning new languages, and this is like analyzing language. Anyway, let's continue. Oh, hi Leonardo. We're watching this video that was shared on Discord. Okay.
Anyone who studied a foreign language knows that they do things differently.
Yes.
In some languages, adjectives precede the noun they modify, in others they go after. In some languages, you move question words to the front of a sentence. In other languages, you don't. What kind of monolingual fool would propose something so absurd? Of course, now I realize that.
But also, like, the tiny changes, coffee, you will never be forgiven for not saying hi sooner. What was I trying to say? I wouldn't say... Also, I'm doing too much commenting, but I guess I want to. The mini changes that happens in language means, like, it's surprising that rules... It's a Saturday here, and also it's a Friday in your time, I think. Or maybe it's past 12, I don't know. But it still feels like a Friday. Yeah, the fact that rules of like noun, verb, stuff, adjective, adverb, all of that, the fact that these things exist in, I don't know, most languages, I can't say all because I don't know all languages, is making you think that there has to be a universal grammar, right? So just the fact that even though they're moved around, they are similar, that's like cause enough for thinking there might be. And I think the cat agrees. Yeah. I was playing with cats yesterday. And also just now, the cat was like, you cannot go inside. You need to play with me. And I was like, no, I'm going to go inside. But I did try to feed the cat.
I was the fool. But Chomsky's actual idea is still not widely understood outside of academia, or within it if we're being honest. Instead, a lot of us, my past self included, argue with a frankly stupid straw man. And there's this other really weird twist about UG for historical reasons, so today I want to get into what deep structure, universal grammar, and generative syntax is all about, without getting into the academic flame war over which specific theories are correct. And I also want to talk about this one really weird fact about academic linguists' approach to syntax. I'm Dr. Taylor Jones, and this is the man who sees himself happy. This is Language Jones. Okay, so obviously different languages do things differently, and contrary to what every aspiring polyglot with an internet connection will tell you on YouTube, his idea is not that basically all languages are the same but they get transformed into one another. That is tinfoil hat level crazy. But there's a reason Chomsky's work revolutionized linguistics and computer science, which actually plays a huge role here. So here's the deal. In the last century BC, before Chomsky, linguists did a lot of writing of descriptive...
Okay, that was funny. Anyway, continue.
grammars. Like this one. It kind of tells you all about the different structures of a given language.
Okay.
And language acquisition was sort of humanities and psychology and kind of all over the place. A leading theory of childhood language acquisition was just that kids mimicked what they hear and basically repeat what they've heard. Chomsky rose to prominence with an epic takedown of B.F. Skinner's work on behaviorism, where he basically points out that, to put it in layman's terms, the math on that just ain't math. Native speakers produce sentence structures they've never heard before, and they aren't exposed to enough language to be able to just learn all the structures through rote memorization and
Obviously, language isn't memorization. Chomsky almost ended up a researcher career just because he said there's a language deep in Amazon that there's no connection. Oh, you mean upended? Is that what you meant to say? Or did he become a researcher? Because, yeah. Wait, he's not linguistics? Noam Chomsky? Well, he isn't he like Neom? Does his name go as Neom Chomsky? Or is it? Nope, it's not. Okay. It's Noam. Got it. Known for his work in linguistics, political activism, and social criticism. The father of modern linguistics. I know, I've heard that term. So I'm like, wait, is his work mostly philosophy? Wait, who influenced Steven Pinker? Did he influence him, or did they influence each other? There we go. Influenced as in and then influenced by is also there. Like public intellectual is his title apparently, which is he has a book called On Palestine. That's interesting. Wow, 2015. Like Gnome. Yeah. Well, no, but the style of reading is like Gnome, but how it's he almost finished the guy's career. Noam Chomsky. Yeah. Oh, you mean he ended a researcher's career? That said, there's a language with no connections. Now I see what you mean. It is Gnome. Nom Chomsky. Is it more Nom instead of Gnome? Nom. I hear it as Nom Chomsky. I don't know. Everybody reads it like very fast, so that's what I'm gonna do. Yes, but language is definitely not memorization. Not on my side anyway. Like I'm pretty bad. Like my style of memorization is I memorize it, I can repeat it the next day, but then I'll forget about it a week later, which I guess everybody does that. So, yeah. Repetition, I guess, but I will let him continue.
enough language to be able to just learn all the structures through rote memorization and repetition. Chomsky was at the forefront of the fledgling field of computer science, and he basically was like, listen, kids have all sorts of developmental stuff they just have built in. They can't roll over and then boom, one day they can. They can't crawl and then boom, one day they can. As a father, I've even seen this with language where my daughter was babbling with 3 specific consonants, took a hard 2-hour nap, and unlocked like 3 more. It's like she just downloaded nasals in a sleep cycle. Anyway, he proposed that language acquisition is similar in that there's a mental module for language. Now, he up and called it a language organ in a metaphor that has been a problem for people ever since. It's not an organ that's got a physical location any more than being able to recognize yourself in the mirror is. So his whole idea is that, yes, languages are different, but honestly, they could be way more different, and they aren't. No language forms questions by making you say all the sounds of a declarative sentence backwards, or...
That's a good point. Language can be far more different than it is. Noam Chomsky. Now I have to ask a text-to-image and a model. Oh, you should. Text-to-image model. Noam Chomsky. You should do that. I think that'd be really cute.
having you pronounce every other word first and then the odd words last. But In principle, this is possible and it's computable. And yet it's totally outside the realm of possibility in real languages. Instead, questions rely on 1, declarative sentences with different intonation where no words are in different places, and 2, sentences that look like declarative sentences but with words moved, always in basically the same patterns. So it looks like there's a system of rules in each individual language whereby we can actually produce infinite sentences, including sentences we've never heard before, if we know how the rules fit together. This should make intuitive sense. Think about the last time you heard a truly surprising sentence. It's not all repetition of the same learned material like, please take a moment to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. And different languages seem to follow the same kinds of...
That was a really good example. Yeah. Don't know much about linguistics, to be honest. No, nor do I. Oh, wow. What is that? A master's on it. Oh, got it. What is that thing you wrote? Oh, aphasia? I've heard that. But what is that? I'm gonna have to Google it now. Bork is aphasia. Output of spontaneous speech is remarkably diminished. Loss of normal grammar. Whoa. Aphasia means probably like forgetting stuff, right? Partial loss of the ability to produce language, although comprehension remains intact. Wow. That is interesting. You forget to talk, but in a good way. Linking things would be hard. And the use of prepositions are lost. Preposition. Yeah. That's cool.
of patterns, but with slight variations, like a different parameter setting. Story time. I actually independently re-derived this trying to study foreign languages more effectively. So what had happened was, I thought, let me get some basic words like Gabriel Weiner's 625 important words list, but it would be great if I could study them in sentences. So why don't I just dump them all into a dictionary in Python and then have a program just make sentences for me to translate? But in order to do that, there's some considerations. I'd have to basically make a class for verbs and instantiate different verbs with different settings, like give would need up to 3 nouns to go with it. I gave my wife a book, but saw would have 2. I saw the man. And then I could do things like add a relative clause. I saw a man who looked like a goat. And as I started thinking through how I would construct a Python class for verbs and nouns and so on, I thought, I've read something where somebody already did this. And then it hit me. It was Aspects of the Theory of Syntax, which Chomsky wrote in 1966, 25 years before Python was created. Check it out. He uses the example sentence, "Sincerity may frighten the boy." It's worth quoting his statement of the problem. He says, concerning this sentence, a traditional grammar might provide information of the following sort. 1. The string 1 is a sentence. S, frighten the boy is a verb phrase. VP, consisting of the verb, V, frighten, and the noun phrase, the boy. Sincerity is also an NP. The NP, the boy, consists of the determiner, followed by a noun. The NP, sincerity, consists of just a noun. The is furthermore an article, and may is a verbal auxiliary, and furthermore a modal. 2. The noun phrase sincerity functions as the subject of the sentence, whereas the verb phrase frighten the boy functions as the predicate of this sentence. The noun phrase the boy functions as the object of the verb phrase, and the verb frighten as its main verb. The grammatical relation subject-verb holds of the pair, sincerity, frighten, and the grammatical relation verb holds of the...
This sentence frightened me. I think there's like another 30 seconds of talking about this. I will endure. Let's continue.
Object pair, frighten the boy. 3. The noun boy is a count noun as distinct from a mass noun, butter, and the abstract noun, sincerity, and a common noun as distinct from the proper noun, John, and the pronoun, it. A human noun as distinct from a bee. Frighten is a transitive verb as distinct from occur, and one that does not freely permit object deletion as distinct from read or eat. It takes progressive aspect freely as distinct from know, own. It allows abstract subjects as distinct from eat, admire, and human objects as distinct from read, and where. Then he just straight up says, the main topic I should like to consider is how information of this sort can be formally presented in a structural description and how such structural descriptions can be generated by a system of explicit rules. So literally the whole idea is how you get sentences that work as sentences from understanding a set of procedures, and I use that word intentionally because we're doing computer science now, and how a finite set of rules combined with a finite lexicon can generate sentences. His goal was to come up with a set of rules, a grammar, that can generate all the sentences of a language, and that won't over-generate with weird stuff. And the real question is...
I don't think we can win with rule-based, though. Sincerity over the phrase might just be the sincerity that frightened the boy. That's true. The sentence might be the only thing that is frightening the boy.
Can you do this with some parameters that you can tweak and be able to generate the structures of all and only the sentences of any human language? And it turns out this is a really fruitful avenue of investigation. Not only can you pretty obviously take care of a ton of observed phenomena with a handful of rules, like you either can or can't just not pronounce pronouns, or you do or don't move WH operators like who, what, where from the place they'd normally sit in a declarative sentence with a real noun there. I saw him versus I saw who versus who did I see. Not only can you do that, but where the problems get thornier, we end up making discoveries that explain a lot of cross-linguistic phenomena. I won't go into the weeds here, but unergatives and unaccusatives are a relatively new discovery, and they explain things like why a lot of verbs in French form auxiliaries with have, but a specific handful form them with be instead. And like, a main takeaway from Chomsky's work is hierarchical structure. That when we combine things, they take on the flavor of one of the things. Here's an example. I can refer to a shoe. That's a noun. And if I add another noun, the whole phrase stays a noun, a clown shoe. But when I add an adjective, what then? Well, the whole phrase stays with the head of the phrases, in this case, a big red clown shoe. And you can do nouny stuff to the whole phrase, like replace it with the pronoun, I refuse to wear it, or even have it license an anaphor, like it crumpled in on itself. You can also put the same category of thing inside itself, so it's recursive, but that's a can of worms for another video, with a can of worms inside of it. This is not going to be a full syntax class. Lord.
My brain is currently melting, but yeah, I still want to continue listening, and I am both understanding how little I know about language and how most of language feels innate, like it feels like it's already there. A language model might have billions of agreed, there you go, but it has in some way learned rules. I think I sort of agree with you. Yeah. The rule-based style that we humans would do, like you can't be done with a few hundred rules, you know? That's what I mean to say, which is like what humans and linguists might be. You know what? You never know. Maybe we are capable of more. I've heard LLMs are struggling with Arabic. Is that true? To be honest, I'm not in the Arabic research scene, and also a link was shared with me recently about was it Arabic text-to-speech? I didn't test it, but it said that there are 3,000 hours of audio and that it's doing a great job. I don't know. We can do an expert system for language. There we go. I mean, it might be possible, but I don't think Eliza had a decent go. I don't think I know Eliza. Is it the one that was just like asking you the questions? The therapy one? Yeah. I don't think they're having problems with Arabic, to be honest. Like ChatGPT does a pretty amazing Arabic. What they might be having problems with is the variation of Arabic, because there is the standard Arabic language, which nobody speaks. That is what you hear on the news and on TV mostly. And then there's the things that everybody speaks, which is just like Morocco, Lebanon, Syria, and Saudi Arabia. Everybody has their own style of speaking. Iraqi, what else? Let's count countries. Jordan, that speak Arabic. Yeah. Early chatbot with a. But I think it was just asking you what you said. How do you feel about that? Mm. What I heard was about the variation. There you go. Yeah, that's probably where the problem would arise. But also, I don't think it's impossible. If a language model can learn like American English, British English, Irish, like Australian, then they can learn Arabic. You know? No, I don't think they're having that much of a problem. I don't think Arabic, I mean, again, I have zero involvement, but I don't think Arabic has a problem of like being low resource. It's not. It's being used by a lot of people, and there's a lot of digital resources, I'd like to think. Yeah. Yes. So problem might be that it's not having the same amount of resources put into it as, you know, the big companies that put resources into English. Like Chinese is, I again have zero information. I'm just saying Chinese has resources put into because the country cares about it. Whisper seemed like the answer that helped mine conversational language from audio to training text models. Yes, Whisper's, I think, doing pretty well. From the complaints I hear from the YouTubers that are unhappy that have their videos turn into text. If they train separately on those variations, okay, that then becomes a method thing. At least the one that OpenAI come up with. Okay, yeah, you also don't know much about Arabic. Yeah, I guess we're just not hearing about it at the like it's not mainstream, you know? Yeah. But again, just like right now, go test Chat GPT or Claude Sonnet or whatever, and ask any, like, they are really good in most languages. I'm sure Arabic is not even a problem. I've also had people test Persian. It does great. So I really do agree with just give mixed information in all the languages, just throw it at the model. Because I think the case of Whisper, it's both a translation and a transcription model. And it's like, it does a better job when it's multi-functional, I don't know, versus when it's doing one thing. So yeah, I guess there's research in that. Just throw anything at it and something will come out the other way. Yeah.
Knows it's not my specialty anyway. And if you want to learn more, I'll probably include this in the Intro to Linguistics for Regular People class I'm putting together on YouTube. Leave me a comment if you're interested in that.
100%.
But I think this stuff is really important because it gets misrepresented, and frankly, it's really useful for language learners and just interesting in its own right. Plus, it helps clarify why linguists say things like African American English or any other non-standard dialect are actually rule-governed and valid and legitimate. The rules aren't things like don't end a sentence with a preposition. That's a stylistic preference that rules out the most common way to answer a phone call here in Harlem. Where you at? But there are rules, which is why nobody asks, at where you? Now, my coding excursion brings me to the weirdest thing about linguistics in my mind. That is, this is basically a computer science problem. But linguists, especially syntax people, are practically computer phobic. They're alert.
That's funny. Also, computer science people are way too interested in language, and get them out of here. Because, like, let the linguists do some stuff. And they're doing pretty great. I'll say that. But, like, me included, we're too interested in language, and we don't have enough information. So, linguists, please teach us.
Allergic to coding. So they do all of this with pencil and paper and, like, their thoughts and It feels like you could take a hypothesis about linguistic structure, say that, I don't know, noun phrases should really be thought of as subordinate to determiner phrases, or that verb phrases need two verbal elements to capture all the cross-linguistic generalizations, what people are calling big V and little v, and you could implement it in Python in like an afternoon, run a bunch of tests, and then debug and continue from there. It is completely mind-boggling to me that this is in fact not the standard practice, especially since I couldn't make heads or tails of minimalist syntax until I learned computer programming. And when I went back to
Computer programming is its own language though, right? Like it's all rule-based and it's mostly human understandable. So that's also interesting. I'm sure there's a part of, research and linguistics that talks about computer programming. It has to.
read Chomsky's early work, he was explicitly doing computer science. To be fair, there are some who do actually do that, and it seems to be the approach to generative syntax that makes the most sense to me. Things like probabilistic context-free grammars and my favorite stochastic tree parsing grammars. But the dominant strand of syntactic inquiry, see what I did there, is still pencil, paper, and thinking hard about how to add another epicycle, or binary branching projection, into the tree. Lastly, Chomsky and his followers seem to be terrible at branding. I have colleagues who work in a generative paradigm, explicitly assuming that the brain can use finite rules to generate infinite linguistic structures constrained by those rules, who would say that they are not generativist, or even that they're anti-Chomsky.
Did I choose correctly that this was a good video recommendation? 100%, yeah. Yes, thumbs up. Thank you. You are now a recommender engine. Cool. Yeah. This is really interesting, and yes, it is. I am aware of my lack of information, but also it's very simple in a way that the guy is trying to help us understand, which I really like.
But in reality, it's nitpicking one or another minor details or misunderstanding word choice. Here's one. Practically every sociolinguist I know can be lured into a frothing at the mouth soapbox rant about Chomsky, writing about an ideal speaker-hearer. But he doesn't mean it like it's what a language speaker should be like. In context, it's clear he means ideal to mean abstract, like this is an idea. The amount of butthurt whining from people with literal PhDs in linguistics because they legitimately misread the meaning of a word is absolutely shocking. Or at least it was when I first got into academia. It's sort of sadly predictable now. Anyway, next time you see a YouTube language enthusiast trash-talking universal grammar, it's worth asking if they're really just arguing with a straw man. Different people disagree with various details, and some of us, myself included, prefer to focus our time on other linguistic questions, but UG is not the claim that all languages are the same. It's a research program designed to get at whether all people have the same linguistic capacity, which seems to be the case, and then what that capacity is. If you like what I'm doing with the channel, please like, subscribe, and above all, comment. I have a Patreon. If you'd like to become a patron, you can do so at www.patreon.com/languagejones. You can also support the channel directly with super thanks and super chat on my live streams.
Oh,
If you like
wow.
this video, YouTube thinks that you will probably like this one. Until next time, happy learning.
Nice. That was nice. What did I want to say? The guy does live streams. I like that. Cool. So I guess the video was mostly like guiding us through his idea of like connecting computer programming, and I think I like your point about ChatGPT learning languages and it being bajillion rules. I think that part was missing. Like it would have been fun if he talked about that part as well, right? Because like I had a friend who did rule-based, I think it was mostly rule-based spell checker for his like thesis, and it was really interesting. And that was like what, 6-7 years ago. So like compared to that, cool. Ahsanullah. I am also a Muslim. Hi. Happy Saturday, I guess. Okay. Let's come back here. Let me ask myself some questions. Oh my God, is this the last? No, it's not. No, it's not the last blog. There are two more. But this is like probably one of the last ones. Sort of subtly invoked that when he described his friends in, yeah, you're right. AAB, that's a good one. Oh my God, really? Are you really from Gaza? Like, are you from Gaza or are you in Gaza? Because I hope you're somewhere safe. Yeah, I guess I was about to say that we have a new lecture to start, and then we have this to start. So it's like a beginnings. Yeah, Saturday, and we are beginning new things. Okay, so I'm just gonna go here, and we'll see how far we can go. Probably not so far. I'm gonna duplicate this code while we're at it, so that if we need to run anything, we can do that. Okay. So training I'm gonna go ahead and say casual, causal. Presume most people from Gaza are still in Gaza. You're right, most probably. But my understanding of the problem is that it's difficult to leave. Yeah, you're right. They are surrounded either by water or, yeah. I guess the people who left are people who have left a long time ago. Like, yeah. Is it me or did I forget what a causal language model means exactly? Just the normal language model? Auto-regressive method. Model is trained to predict next token. Ah, okay, got it. Okay, I'm gonna read this. Up until now, we've mostly been using pre-trained models and fine-tuning them for new cases by reusing weights from pre-training, as we saw in chapter 1. This is commonly referred to as transfer learning. Not BERT. BERT is classification. Yeah, next token prediction, basically, right? Okay. Transfer learning, cool. A very successful strategy for applying transformer models to most real-world use cases where labeled data is sparse. Okay. In this chapter, we'll take a different approach and train a completely new model from scratch. That would be fun. I like that. This is a good approach to take if you have a lot of data, and it is very different from the retraining data used for the available models. Different from what the model has been trained on, okay? However, I'm from Iraq. Yes, ChatGPT is causal. Got it. And I'm studying. I'm currently studying language, natural language processing. Yes. Where was I? Yes. However, it also requires considerably more compute resources to pre-train a language model than just to fine-tune an existing one, obviously. Examples where it can make sense to train a new model include for a data set consisting of musical tones, because it's not language, I see, molecular sequences such as DNA, or programming languages. That's true. Oh, the Iraq is the correct, I guess the Arabic way of saying it. Iraq with a ayn. Iraq, yeah, sorry. If you don't know where it is, yes. People who speak English call it Iraq. Yeah. I also had to have the same question to Ahsanullah. Was that your name? Ahsan? Can you call you Ahsan? Are you interested in AI and stuff like that? You're asking about how it's pronounced. You can pronounce it however you like, but yeah. Iraq. Yeah. I wouldn't keep the A, I would say. There's a kasra, you know? And you know what a kasra is? I don't know. But let me get an Arabic. There we go. And let's put this here before I lose it. So Iraq. There we go. I wrote it correctly. And it's, why is it Persian? Wait, is it Iraq or, help me. Yes. I literally forget how to, anyway, you know, like, it's written with an I, obviously, you know. So that's why there's a kasra. Even though it's not written, it's a and ra, no I or E, but when you read it, you read the E. Yeah.
العراق.
Oh, shut up. That was very... I'm going to remove the L.
عراق.
Sure, that's fine. Wow, noon was not necessary, but anyway. That's where we're from. A country that was made 100 years ago. Yay. 101. Yeah. It was our birthday last year. I mean, 100-year anniversary of fun stuff. Anyway, of the border being created by British people. Anyway, where was I? We love having our borders being made for us. How a good approach, however, there I was, also requires considerably more compute. We said that. Example, we said that as well. So for programming languages, it has gained traction thanks to tools such as Tab9, I have not heard of that, and GitHub's Copilot, I have heard of that. Powered by OpenAI's Codex model? Really? Copilot is like powered by OpenAI? My country is like 25 years older than yours. Bro, focus on the info. No. I will, first of all, I'm not a bro, but also, I like your name, Ramses. It reminds me of the movie Moses. I like tangents. Come on, it's fun. We came We became a country in, oh my god, 19. ويا coffee. عندي coffee, yes. I do have coffee. I think, cool. You guys are older. But I will say that in my country, there are, like, civilization has been here for thousands and thousands and thousands of, oh, messages for coffee? Why, what happened? What, why? Is Ramses a new chatter? Why do I feel like you are a new chatter and you're like, hit the ground running? Why? What's happening? Still have. Anyway, our country has been, I mean, it's not a country. The civilization has been here for way too long. I'm not saying as if it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, yeah. Our current situation is not the best, but we've been here for a while and we'll stay here for a while. Because like in the caves, there are like, artifacts that are found that are way too old. So yeah, apparently like agriculture started here. So as AI continues to evolve, will humanity's increasing reliance on intelligent machines diminish our capacity for creativity? Or will it empower us to reach new heights of understanding and innovation? I say both. Because like the fact that we have tools like, I don't know why excavator came to mind, but stuff like that, does that mean we're no longer strong people? Not really, but we don't need to be. Hey Oliver, how old is your country? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like we have tools that help us do the thing, but we also like doing the thing that the tool helps us do. So I guess going to the past and looking at new tools being introduced, like because we have typewriters and computers, do we no longer need to write by hand? True, but we do it anyway. Dawkins predicted memes. Wait, help me. Is the word meme the thing that came from back when people still considered what Dawkins had to say? I mean, did they create the word meme? Richard Dawkins, I think so. Huh. Selfish gene is there. I see. Okay, I've heard about the guy. I wasn't sure if I had. But I think they created the word meme, which was yeah, okay. Can you help me with stable diffusion Python can find my GPU? Maybe. Good question. Thanks for asking. It's NVIDIA. Oh my god. So do you mean what are you using? That's a good question. Like, because I actually had a problem of my code not finding the GPU, but I had I think my problem was I didn't have CUDA. I don't know if you have you use CUDA. So I'm like looking at the chat and seeing if you guys can resolve it. Can generate long sequences of code. Python 10. Why 10? Reinstall like 50 times, fix directory, everything. Wait, why Python 10? How's it going? How did it go? Someone give me a summary. You guys learned about coffee's patience? We're thankful because most of the time I don't understand stuff, and patience is useful. I had to go move the car, so I'm back. Not sure? Huh? I mean, just wondering, yeah, how are things going? Playing IT support very patiently, yeah. And for free. Thank you. Ramses had the problem. How are they doing? Still alive, hopefully. But I guess my question was, why Python 10 and not 12? Is that sorry. Yeah. My brain is everywhere. Let me bring it back. Okay. So, yeah, I hope Ramesses at least has a way of debugging their problem. And if not, they can let us know. Okay. I'm going to go back here. I hate to bite my tongue on not saying 3.10 or 12. Yeah. Why not? Say it. No one's I don't think he has any idea what he's doing, but okay. No one has any idea what we're doing, but okay as well. I think that there is some issue with some libraries in the latest Pythons. That's for sure. That's true. I've had to like use 3.8, 3.10, 3.12, depending, and like just getting your libraries all happy is a feat within itself. Yeah, agreed on that. Okay. This task of text generation is best addressed with autoregressive or causal language models such as GPT-2. In this section, we will build a scaled down version of code generation model. We'll focus on one-line completions instead of full functions of classes. One line. I see. Wait, we're making something that generates code? That's going to be fun. Okay, one-line completions instead of writing its own functions or classes. I see. Using a subset of Python code. When working with data in Python, you are in frequent contact with the Python data science stack, consisting of matplotlib, Seaborn, pandas, and scikit-learn libraries. When using those frameworks, it's common to need to look up specific commands. True. So it'd be nice if we could use a model to complete these calls for us. So we're basically making version 1 of Copilot. That's fun. Video incoming. Should I notify you about the whoosh, or should I try to decrease the volume. Let's see if this works. I think it did. Okay.
Welcome to the HuggingFace task series. In this video, we'll take a look at the causal language modeling. Causal language modeling is the task of predicting the next word in a sentence, given all the previous words. This task is very similar to the autocorrect function that you might have on your phone. These models take a sequence to be completed and output the complete sequence. Classification metrics can't be used as there is no single correct answer for the completion. Instead, we evaluate the distribution of the text completed by the model. A common metric to do so is the cross-entropy loss. Perplexity is also a widely used metric, and it is calculated as the exponential of the cross-entropy loss. You can use any dataset with plain text and tokenize the text to prepare the data. Causal language models can be used to generate code.
Okay.
For more information about the causal language modeling task, check out the HuggingFace course.
That was very concise. Okay. So what chapter are we in? 7, according to the URL. In chapter 6, we created an efficient tokenizer to process Python code source. I remember something like that, yeah, with the issues thing. But what we still need is a large-scale dataset to pre-train a model on. We are doing pre-training. Here we'll apply our tokenizer to a corpus of Python code. Did not seem worth being a video. I was trying to be nicer. It was very high level. Someone told me a joke where you can summarize a book in like a few paragraphs, right? And you can actually summarize those few paragraphs like with one word. And I was like, huh. For example, physics. That's the name of a book. So now this video was a very, very summarized version of a video. It was basically a title. Not very funny, but you had to be there. Okay. So we'll apply our tokenizer to a corpus of Python code derived from GitHub repositories. We will then use the trainer API and HuggingFace accelerate thing to train the model. Let's get to it. Okay. This is actually showcasing the model that was trained and uploaded to GitHub using the code shown in this section. You can find it here. Where is here? Is this collab? Note that since there is some randomization happening in the text generation, you'll probably get a slightly different result. Let's look at it. No model card. Code parrot. I am surprised. So this is what we're going to get to. Sizes are very small. Like, look, not even 1 gigabyte. Nice. But no model card? Surprising. Gathering the data. Okay, so we're using GitHub. Python code is abundantly available from code repositories such as GitHub, which we can use to create a dataset by scraping for every Python repository. Yeah, that's like too much. Someone's already done it. This was the approach taken in the Transformer textbook. Whoa. Is it by, yeah, it is by O'Reilly. Is it the type of book where it looks really beautiful? Nope. I mean, like, there, is it the Fast AI book? There's a book that you just, it's an R book. Yes, definitely R. Because I was like, I'm gonna learn R using this book, and then I didn't. Like, yeah. Oh wow, with HuggingFace. Thomas Wolfe. I know that guy. I mean, I've heard of the guy. He's a researcher. Cool. No thanks. Yes, using a GitHub dump of about 180 gigabytes containing roughly 2 million, 20 million files, called Code Parrot. The authors built a dataset that they shared on HuggingFace. Why, thank you very much. Rainbow lorikeet? Oh, wow. The bird? That bird? Looks like a parrot to me. That's cool that you know the name. I like the way O'Reilly does their covers. I really do. Uh-huh. 3 files scanned as unsafe. Interesting. This is very Transformers book. Wow. Yes. I thought so. I don't think any birds passed by me just now. I know this. Oh, I was like, I know this guy because he was in one of the videos that we were watching. Cool. This is all the code that's in the book. How cool is that? I like that. Let's go back to our parrot. Code parrot. This duplication. Note that about 70% of the data set is duplicated. What do you mean? If you use a data set, make sure to deal with them appropriately. Oh, there's a clean version. Deduplicate. That's a better idea, though. No? Like, why do I need duplicate information? Would that make it seem more important? Like, it's always birds. No, I don't think so. Type of parrot. I've seen. Is it? Huh. I don't know. I feel like I've seen stuff like sloths. Might be wrong. Uses different animals. Parrots might be. Yes. Also, yeah, because it's called Code Parrot, and generative AI is basically a parrot. I feel like just Googling O'Reilly book covers. O'Reilly book covers. Cover generator? Why? Yeah. Is that for real though? Yeah, no, it's every animals. I feel like I've seen what? Turning coffee into code. That's a good one. That's a meme, by the way. How many of these are real books though? Okay, that one is a real book. Procrastination. Now that's a book I can get behind. It used to be a meme. Which makes me I don't know. See? Fake O'Reilly books. Angry admin. It's funny. That's a really angry admin. Keeping uppity users at bay. Oh, blaming the user. That's cute. Hoping for the right interview questions. Should I go back to the real O'Reilly? Oh. There we go. This is for real, right? Huh. That's cute. Animal names. C# 4.0. Wow. Yeah, it's all animals. I like this. Check the data ones. I didn't see it. So that cover for the AI book had a full color animal where most covers are black and white. That's true. With the, feels dotted. I guess because it's mostly online. Maybe printed version is black and white. I have no idea. The only other book, which I don't think is an O'Reilly book, that I know about is the deep learning book by, there we go, Ian Goodfellow, Joshua Bueno, and the other guy's name is Aaron Corville. That has a online version as well that I like. I think it's like you can just go through it. Like ML Basics. And that's a book. Isn't that nice? Yeah. Yes. Sometimes I think I'm not doing enough when I see those books are so readily available. Like I need to know more, but I also like watching movies, so sue me. Did I say how much I love The Wild Robot? I really love The Wild Robot. The cover is in color, not full color, but animal images on the covers tend to be black and white. Oh, you're right. Maybe cheaper? Because like there's this, the title has color behind it. But I think the color doesn't have any hues, so it's just color, not, trying to be mean about you using you in your color. Yeah, probably cheaper, but also it's beautiful. Yeah. I think does CSS accept color with a U? Because I know it's the color without a U, but maybe they accept it. Early 2000s and earlier, many technical computer books were like reporting the documentation. Yeah, but like with some human comment to make it more readable, maybe. There must have been a market for that, and now it's all gone. I mean, again, not always though. Like, we like nostalgic stuff, and reading a book on paper is, I'd like to say it's nostalgic. Okay. I'm going to excuse myself and not continue here and come back on the data gathering. Sorry. Because annoying as hell, really. Yeah. Because my energy for this type of learning is gone now, and I want to go to a lecture. But we will come back here. There's a really good chance of me streaming tomorrow because it's possible. We'll see. That was the era I think O'Reilly books really got their hold intact. Good for them. Good for them. Do we think we can do 15-20 minutes of class today? Let's try. Now they survive as required reading. Like textbooks, university courses. I guess they have a good like hold on researchers publishing researchers' books, which is pretty good. You know, I wouldn't mind getting a book deal from them.
Okay, so let's get started. Today I'm going. Okay, so let's get started. Today I'm going to be talking about learning from human feedback. I wrote reinforcement learning from human feedback because that's what a lot of people talk about nowadays. But actually, there's other methods of learning from human feedback. So first, I'm going to be talking about the ways we can get human feedback for the generations of models, and mostly focus on generation tasks because generation tasks are harder than like classification tasks that we deal with normally. So I'll spend a fair amount of time talking about how we do that, and then after I talk about how we do that, we'll move into how we actually learn from that signal. So normally what we've done up until this point is maximum likelihood training. This is just an overview slide. So
I think, what animal would I put on my cover? They're expensive. All researchers' books could be more accessible. Imagine paying $60 for each. Yeah, you're right. It's unfair, especially for students. But I really do like the idea of writing a book, even if it's for free. I should do that. I really should do more writing, even if it's a blog. Yeah. It's a lot more than I pay to read preprints on Archive. Wait, you have to pay for Archive? I don't think you need to pay. I mean, unless you're doing the Wikipedia style of donation. I don't know. Or is it like preprints are? No. Anyway, a cat, most likely. I like cats. Any other animals that I like? Maybe tardigrade? Tardigrades are the bears that don't die, right? Let me double check. Yep, tardigrade. There we go. Oh my god, I love it. Look at this cute animal. And then is that? Oh, okay. What is that? I'm guessing you guys know about this animal. I don't need to introduce this animal to you. There you go. Archive is free. In contrast to other. Cool. What is a normal size? Oh my god, it was found in 1773. Ooh, that must have been scary. It's called little water bears. What is a micro animal? Yes, but what is a normal size? Like, is it a centimeter? There we go. Usually about 0.5 millimeters. So I guess they are, you can see them, right? I hate when IEEE papers or Springer demand I pay to read something. I also hate it. Anyway, we like the black crow. That's as far as I will go. On that. Yeah, black crow is a good one. I was trying to have access to some research data from health department in the US. $700 a month? Why? Like, isn't there free health data from WHO or something? Have you tried looking into that? There's a website called, oh, I forgot. Anyway, there are websites for like data that, oh, I forgot. there has to be one. But I don't know if it has healthcare data. But there, come on. Should I write this on a note and try to look into it and share it with you when I find it? Because I guess the US data is what where demographics matter, but so there we go. Okay.
Signal. So normally what we've done up until this point is maximum likelihood training. This is just an overview slide. So what we want to do is we want to maximize.
You mean they're not taking that much money from researchers because there are discounts for universities for students, but anyone that asks, they get to pay the largest amount. I've had that problem with thanks. Yeah. Okay. I've had this problem with conferences because I'm not affiliated with anything, and if I want to go to a conference, I'll have to pay like too much. Definitely depends on the data. You're right. But still, like a run-of-the-mill researcher doesn't have as much access than someone affiliated with a university or even a research thing. I don't think we have many research entities in my country. I don't know. I might be wrong. I'm not the spokesperson. Often some data is free. Other data they think is more something corporations would want, but not that useful to the public. Might have a fee. You think? So like they're doing a good job of like trying to be as free as possible. I'd like to think that.
Is the likelihood of predicting the next word and the reference given the previous words, which gives us the loss of the output given the input, where the input can be the prompt, the output can be the answer to the output. But there's lots of problems with learning from maximum likelihood. And I'm going to give 3 examples here. I think all of these are actually real problems that we need to be worried about. So the first one is that some mistakes are worse than others. So in the end, we want good outputs, and some mistaken predictions can be a bigger problem for the output being good. So to give an example, let's say what we actually wanted from like a speech recognition system or a translation system or something like that is please send this package to Pittsburgh. If I write, please send a package to Pittsburgh, then this is not a huge problem.
Okay.
If I write, please send this package to Tokyo, then that.
I get why some mistakes are worse than others. Especially in healthcare. Like, oh my God, mistakes are very costly.
Might be a big problem because the package you wanted to come to Pittsburgh goes to Tokyo instead, and you might not want that to happen. You might also have it say bleeping send this package to Pittsburgh instead of please. And that would be a problem in a customer service system, right? Because your customer would leave and never come back. So determiner like this is not going to cause a huge issue. Messing up other things is going to cause a larger issue. But from the point of view of maximum likelihood,
health departments tend to be government entities. So the data collection is likely taxpayer funded. If they generate revenue from sales of the data, maybe that's understandable. True. Yeah. I've never been government. Are they called government servants? Workers? I don't know. So I don't have as much empathy. But yeah, we live in a society and government needs to make money too. But they're doing fine. We have oil money. I'm kidding. Yeah, oil will run out pretty soon.
All of these are just tokens, and messing up one token is the same as messing up another token. So that's an issue. Another problem is that the gold standard and maximum likelihood estimation can be bad. It can be like not what you want. And corpora are full of outputs that we wouldn't want a language model reproducing. So for example, toxic comments on Reddit, disinformation. Another thing that a lot of people don't think about quite as much is a lot of the data online is automatically generated nowadays. For example, from machine translation, a lot of the translations online are from 2016 Google Translate, when Google Translate was a lot less.
Would that be synthetic? Like, that's funny. Translation is old machine translation. Yeah, you're right. It's used in Australia and UK. They say government officials, but that's too officials to me. You're right. Public servant is one that I've heard a lot. People who work for the government. But I guess that's very British. And in a way, Australian and maybe even Canadian. I don't know. But would translation from Google be considered synthetic data? I'm curious.
Less good than it is now. And so you have like poor quality translations that were automatically generated.
True.
A final problem is something that's called exposure bias. And exposure bias, basically what it means is MLE training doesn't consider
Yeah, I guess synthetic just means not human-made, right, in a way. But it's like like unpurposely made synthetic data, and it is very low quality.
necessity for generation, and it relies on gold standard context. So if we go back to the MLE equation, when we're calculating MLE, this y less than t is always correct. It's always a good output. And so what the model does is it learns to over-rely on good outputs. And one example of a problem that this causes is models tend to repeat themselves over and over again, for example, when you use some generation algorithms. And the reason why this happens is because in a gold standard output, if a word has appeared previously, that word is more likely to happen next. So like if you say, like I am going to Pittsburgh, you're much more likely to say Pittsburgh again in the future because you're talking about Pittsburgh topically, it's coherent. So what you get is you get MLE trained models saying, I'm going to Pittsburgh, I am going to Pittsburgh, I am going to Pittsburgh, I am going to Pittsburgh. You've probably seen this before at some point. And so exposure bias is basically that the model has never been exposed to mistakes in the past, and so it can't deal with them.
Welcome to the present. It's cool. Don't apologize.
So what this does is, if you have an alternative training algorithm, you can fix this by generating a whole bunch of outputs, like scoring some of them poorly and penalizing the model for generating poor outputs. And so that can fix these problems as well. Any questions about this? All good?
All good.
Okay, cool. So now I'd like to get into how we measure how good an output is. And there's different ways of doing this. The first one is objective assessment. So for some tasks, or for many tasks, there's kind of objectively a correct answer. There's also human subjective annotation. So you can ask humans to do annotation for you.
Oh my God, humans never agree with each other. Like unless it's very clear cut, if it's gray, it's really, you will need a lot of human resources to have a general average human thing. It's not easy. Like objective, if it's 1 + 1 = 2, then okay. But if it's not, then yeah.
There's machine prediction of human preferences. And there's also use in another system, in a downstream task. So the way objective assessment works is you have an annotated correct answer and match against this. So like if you're solving math problems, answering objective questions, and you can pick any arbitrary example. You can pick your classification example from like your text classification tasks. An even clearer example is if you have math problems, there's kind of objectively one answer to any math problem, and there's no other answer that could be correct. So this makes your life easy if you're handling this type of problem, but of course, there's many other types of problems we want to handle that don't have objective answers like this. So let's say we're handling a generation.
Yeah. Wait, am I not a human? I don't mean me and humans. I mean all humans.
Task where we don't have an objective answer. In this case, kind of one of our gold standards is human evaluation. So we might have a source input, like a prompt or an input text for machine translation. We have one or several hypotheses, and we ask a human annotator to basically give a score for them or do some sort of other annotation. And the different varieties of annotation that we can give.
Thanks for stopping by, Leonardo. We appreciate your input and your chat and your support. See you next time if possible. If not, have a nice sleep. Yeah. I mean, always. I'm saying if we don't see you next time, it's all right. But if we do, we'll be happy. There. Yeah. Okay. Good night.
Are something called direct assessment. So direct assessment is a term that comes from machine translation.
I meant Graham. Was the human? Okay. Cool.
Direct assessment. So direct assessment is a term that comes from machine translation. So you might not see it used lots of other places, but it's basically just give a score directly to how good the output is. So you can say, like, if you say, please send this translation is please send this package to Tokyo, we give it a score of 2 out of 10 or something like this. So the question here is, like, what does, like, let's say I gave a score of 2 out of 10 for please send this package to Tokyo. What score should I give for please send a package to Tokyo?
8 or 9? No. 7 or 8?
Anyone have any ideas? The correct answer is please send this package to
7.5?
Tokyo. 8 out of 10. Yeah. But you might disagree on that, right? It's kind of like subjective. One of the difficulties of direct assessment is giving a number like this is pretty difficult if you don't have a very clear rubric and very skilled annotators.
Yeah. Like, there has to be something that I'm comparing against. So there is a cheat sheet of like the level of mistake and what grade I should give it. And then I'll be more confident about my grade.
And it's hard to get consistency between people.
So do I. I also try hard to find a joke. Yeah. It's fun. I like it. That makes us human. Beep boop. I'm guessing you have not seen The Wild Robot yet. Okay. I really like The Wild Robot. Yes. No spoilers, I guess. I'm not going to talk about it, but I just really liked it.
When you do this. So the advantage is it kind of gives you an idea of how good things are overall, but the disadvantage is it's more difficult to annotate and get consistency. Another thing that I should point out is often scores are assigned separately based on desirable traits. So we don't necessarily just say how good is it, we say how fluent is it? Like, is it fluent English? In translation, there's a concept called adequacy, which is how well does the output reflect the input semantics? And if you're assessing translation systems, actually it's common to assess fluency without even looking at the input, because then you can just say how fluent is it. But for adequacy, you definitely need to understand the input. So you need to be a bilingual speaker to be able to assess that.
Fair.
Factuality. And so factuality is tricky. It can either be factuality grounded in a particular input text, in which case the facts would have to be, things that were said in the input, or it can be just kind of, is the statement factual in general, in which case you need to go online, you need to search for things and check whether the statement is factual or not. Other things are like coherence. Does the output fit coherently within the larger discourse? And there's many, many other ones of these. This is also task dependent. So like the things you will evaluate for machine translation are different than the ones you would do for dialogue, which are different than the ones you would do for.
There. Also, like now that we have these attributes, I guess we can score against, I'd be happier. Because like, I don't know how long ago, but I was asked to score a technical interview, and like I scored based on each little thing that I could score on versus like giving final score, because that made me happier. And it was a technical interview. It was not like a normal interview, but I tried to find as many little things that I can get out of it, so that if I give a score that I can average, I'd be more confident instead of just saying this out of this at the like output level of the question. So same here. If I give a score on fluency out of 10 and then adequacy and factuality and coherence, and then I average this out, then that becomes a good score. So I guess it's not about how many people doing the assessment, it's about the both, obviously. How the assessment is done and also how many people, and yeah, the methodology. I like this. I do. Okay. Okay.
A general purpose chatbot, which is different than the things you would do for summarization, for example. So if you're interested in doing something like this, then I definitely encourage you to look at what other people have done for the tasks you're interested in previously, and find out the different types of traits that you'd like here.
Traits. He's calling them traits. Seems more objective. Feels that way, hopefully. Like you can defend where scoring came from. Basically, yeah. It's like if you just give a score at the end, you're like, why? But if you score based on every little trait or thing, that does feel more objective and like eases your heart as a human who has a heart.
Any questions about this also? Okay. The next type of feedback is preference ratings. And so this is basically what you do is you have two or more outputs from different models or different generations from an individual model. And you ask a human which one is better, like is one better than the other, or are they tied? And so in this case, you might have, please send this package to Tokyo, please send a package to Tokyo. We might disagree on how like good or bad each of them are, but I think most people would agree that this one is like, despite the fact that it got this wrong, the second one is better than the first one. So this is a little bit of an easier task. It's easier to get people to annotate these things consistently. However, it has the disadvantage that you can't really tell.
Find a jib? Huh? What's a jib? Where? Huh? Wait, I don't understand. Did I say something?
Easier task. It's easier to get people to annotate these things consistently. However, it has the disadvantage that you can't really tell whether systems are really good or really bad. So let's say you have a bunch of really bad systems that you're comparing with each other. You might find that one is better than the other, but that still doesn't mean it's ready to be deployed. Or if you have a bunch of really good systems, they're all basically, you know, very, very similar to another, but one is like slightly more fluent than the other. You might still get a similar result. And so that also makes it, you know, a little bit difficult to use practically in some ways. I didn't put it on the slide, but there's another way you can kind of get the best of.
Oh, it's a common phrase. I like the cut of his jib. Okay, see, I didn't know that one as an explanation for saying they hire someone. Okay, here's my explanation and why you gave a score to a candidate. Can I be mean and say the jib was that they look like me and and it reminds them of me, you know, like with all due respect, if like I don't think that's the case, but like I'm just saying hypothetically, if they didn't like the cut of my jib because I'm wearing a hijab, but if there's a guy and the style of talking reminds them of themselves, they may be more comfortable with that person. Because I think there's another part of like some managers being afraid of hiring women because they're like the woman, the person might misunderstand my style of work and see it as harassment. So all of that goes into consideration when they hire new people, you know. Would be honest to consider one's own bias. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've actually never conscious. I hope so. I hope so. I've never needed, as of right now. I have been in a few interviews, but like when you're interviewing an intern, you're not really interviewing them because interns get accepted and they leave in a few months. So I've had that, but interviewing a real person, I've had that once, and there were no female candidates. Sadly, I am very biased towards making sure that you know, female candidates get a step in the door. You know, yeah, I will be as biased as I need to be. I'm very very passionate about that subject, I suppose. Like I will not say come into computer science because it's fun and because you make a lot of money. I do it because you want to, but if you do, then I will help you. But I'm not gonna I'm not gonna motivate you or ask you to come into computer science. You don't have to, but if you do, come in. Yeah, like when people ask me, should I go and study computer science? I'm like, do whatever you like. I will not encourage you to come into computer science because I don't think it's for everybody. But if you want to, let me tell you how good it is. That it isn't true bias, but rather helping to, that is my argument, level the uneven playing field. Absolutely. The word that I use is the the scale is very, very uneven. So I'm just trying to tip the scale, but I'm obviously not gonna, like give more scores to a female candidate because I've not been in that situation, and I don't think I will do that because most of the time, unless you're interviewing the candidate in person, you don't know their name or if they're men or women. That's an HR thing, but like my support would be helping them with preparing for the interview and stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway, I am very yeah, that's a subject that I have passion. A lot of passionate about it. Okay. Because the whole history is a different thing, but even right now, I don't think in my country it's like no one is saying don't come to computer science. Absolutely. It's you chatted a while back complaining of women in IT getting advantages in Saudi Arabia and handled very lightly. Yeah, I guess I got a chat like that very recently. Yeah. I mean, you don't need to argue, even if you're passionate about something. It's always frustrating to feel like you're being given opportunities. I do think that most of the time, like to fill out a quota of like having female employees, so take advantage of that while it's there. But yeah, there is no problem of women studying computer science in my country. Like I've said that before, I'll say it again. My class was more than 50% female. Like, and there aren't that many annoying professors, lecturers, that most of them, like 99% of them, are great. I've only had to face one person that I didn't enjoy their comment about saying, why are there so many women in the class? I will never forget that. But that was one person. Otherwise, everybody's great. I guess the only problem is with leveling up that part, like going to higher positions. Yeah, I don't think I would mind being the head of unit in my current work someday. Yeah. I know it's I don't like high stress jobs, but I don't mind it. Also, the money wouldn't be a problem. Anyway, yes, come into computer science, please. I mean, don't if you don't feel like it. But yeah, I think it's the job market is not easy, but the thing about working with computers is that you have a place almost everywhere. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir, but you know. Yeah. Okay. Human feedback. We're talking about human feedback. I'm not good at not doing tangents, am I?
Both worlds, which is side-by-side assessment. And side-by-side assessment, basically what you would do is you would say, please send this package to Tokyo, please send a package to Pittsburgh. Give each of them a direct score, but you can use decimal places and you can't use the same score for all of them. And so it's like 5.00 and 4.99 out of 5 or something like that. Like you like one slightly better than the other or something like that. So there are ways to kind of get best of both worlds if you're interested in doing that. So
Yes.
one other problem with preference rankings is that there's a limited number of things that humans can compare before they get really overwhelmed. So if you say, I want to rate 15 systems or 20 systems with respect to how good they are with respect to each other, it's going to be impossible for humans to come up with a good preference ranking between them. And so the typical way around this, which is also used in things like the chatbot arena by LMSys and other things like this, is to use something like an ELO or true skill ranking. And what these are things that were created for the ranking of like chess players or video game players or other things, where they like battle against each other in multiple matches, pairwise, and then you put all of the wins and losses into these ranking algorithms, and they give you a score about how good like each of the players are. So if you do something like this, you can get
Basically, yeah. I think he was just talking about the LM Arena as well. Yeah.
Basically a ranking of systems, despite the fact that you only did pairwise assessment.
He did, yeah.
So these are also a good thing to know about. A final variety of human feedback that we create is error annotation. And this can be useful for a number of reasons. But basically the way it works is you annotate individual errors within the outputs. And one thing I should mention is that I'm giving a lot of examples from machine translation. I feel like machine translation has been doing evaluation of generated outputs for a lot longer than a lot of other fields of NLP have. And
Because like translation, well, like even human translation is something that exists. But like human generation is not something, human speech generation, or not speech, text generation is not something that we score exactly. So it's easier to score something that humans also do.
and therefore their methodology is more developed than a lot of other fields. But a lot of these things can also be applied to other tasks as well. But anyway, getting back to this, there's something for machine translation called multidimensional quality metrics. And the multidimensional quality metrics, basically what they do is they annotate spans in the output, where each span in the output is given a severity ranking of the error, and it's given a type of the error. And there's about 8 different types of errors. Like this doesn't violate, or this violates linguistic conventions of using the word this instead of here, by using the word instead of this here. And then this is an accuracy error because it's not accurately conveying the output. And then this error is minor. This error is major. And then there's also like severe versus major, but minor and major is a more important distinction. So the advantage of this is a couplefold. Number one, it gives you more fine-grained feedback in that you can say, okay, this system has a lot of accuracy errors. This system has.
I guess I have a question which might not be relevant because it's a human feedback thing and not a evaluation thing. But like translation is not always word for word. But if you rate the translated text and say what is the problem linguistically, I think like that's a good thing. So this is what that is. It's not a if you say this in Arabic and like draw a line from each text to its outcome, like its corresponding word, it's not that. That's evaluation. This is feedback. It's different.
Has a lot of linguistic conventions errors. It also can be more consistent because if you just say to people which output is better or what is the score of this output, people have trouble deciding about that because it's a more subjective evaluation. But if I say,
yeah, just having the output, but yeah, that's why I'm like thinking of the origin one. But I guess we are scoring how good it is, right? I think A could be correct, but D makes more sense. Yeah, agreed. With the IO, presume, yeah, like based on what the original intended, yeah.
is this word correct? It's a little bit easier for people to do, so you can get more consistent annotations here. The problem with this is this can be very time consuming. So, obviously you need to go through and annotate every single error.
As like, yeah, the more fine-grained, the more time consuming. Makes sense.
It's for long outputs or something, then that can be a problem. So anyway, these are just 3 ways of collecting human feedback. And then there's an alternative, which is automatic evaluation of outputs. And there's a bunch of different ways.
Oh, should I pause here? Maybe? Okay, maybe a few more seconds. A implies the exact package. To be sent doesn't matter. It's not a specific item that needs to be, just send anything fair, yeah. And then the, yes.
Alternative, which is automatic evaluation of outputs. And there's a bunch of different ways we can do this. The basic idea here is we have a source. We have a couple hypotheses, and we have an automatic system that generates outputs like scores. And we optionally have a reference output. So the reference output is a human created gold standard output with respect to how good that, with respect to like what the output should be in an ideal case. And basically, the goal of automatic evaluation is to predict human preferences or to predict what the human scores would be. Because still at this point, we mostly view what humans think of the output to be
Gold
kind of the
standard.
gold standard.
Yeah.
And this is called a variety of things depending on what field you're in. In machine translation and summarization, it's called automatic evaluation, also a lot in dialogue. If you're talking about people from reinforcement,
I'm gonna pause here actually and go back just a bit. Yeah, I think we are done. Good.
and
Nice. Do I sense a change? Was that here before? This dark thing? I don't think it was here before. Right? There's like a shadow behind this. I like it. Nice. Cool. We paused here, and then we paused here, and then we watched this video, which I'm gonna go and check.
Hi, I'm Dr.
Hello. Do I need to have a channel intro? Thank you. Honestly, I don't know when, but yeah, I guess when Leonardo called you patient, I was like, I feel like I'm not being nice enough and expecting coffee to be at every stream. I really shouldn't do that. So thank you for being here today. And you can be wherever, whenever it's convenient for you to be here or not. That's cool. And yeah, I appreciate you for joining the stream and chatting. So, okay. I think I do not have the. Oh, really? I don't think I have the shading thing. Ah. Yeah. So, coffee appreciation moment. So. I think today was lesson number 55, which is a lot. Like 52 means a year. So we've been I mean, I guess this has not been a year, but hey. To be honest, I might have learned other day for 30 minutes saying nothing to try to be less of a pain. Oh my god, shut up. Don't say that. I really appreciate the fact that you have stayed around. Just you're not. You are like a I don't want to say like you're part of the stream, but in a way you are. So if anyone's not happy with that, but like don't think that you need to be here, you know? You can be wherever you feel like. Yeah. 55 study streams. I'm really happy how much I've learned the past few, not few, like 10 months, 12 months, almost a year now. I really feel like I've grown because when I mean, I'm obviously using ChatGPT style stuff, but also I feel like my understanding is now much, much better. I feel more confident. So yeah, thank you for helping me with that. Like for real. Yeah, okay. So that person I just wanted to focus, huh? You want to focus, get help. I think just the person. Oh, I see what you mean. Got it. Maybe. Okay. All right. I'm gonna try to find the goodbye gesture, which was actually right here. There. Gonna end the stream. Thanks again. I mean it. Yeah. Most likely I can stream again tomorrow. I could not follow the schedule last week. Let's see if I can think of a schedule for this week. Thanks for stopping by. Inshallah, see you next time if it's possible. The cat also says goodbye and ending the stream in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you and bye.